Trevor, just what's your initial reaction to how Sunday's game went and you guys not being able to make it to the postseason?
I mean, I kind of talked about it on the podcast with my brother. It's just disappointing, and then on top of that, just an absolute dagger into the back, knowing how the season ended for 1-5, and on our last hope going into the last drive of the game, and looked like we were going to have a chance to maybe come out with a win and keep our hopes alive, and then kind of just kept going downhill from there. So it's just it sucks, man. It sucks, but that's the reality of it. And right now we got 3 games left to try and enjoy it with the guys in this building and the team that we've built here, and then on top of that, Chiefs Kingdom deserves us to go out there and play our hearts out for them.
Travis, last time we talked to you, you said it'd be after the season before you really contemplated what's next for you. But it crossed your mind at all that you might have played with Patrick for the last time?
Oh man, that's crazy. I think I'd rather just keep the focus of the media and everything on this team right now, and all the conversations that I have with the team and everything moving forward will be with them. And I think it's a unique time in my life, and unfortunately, I got 3 games left, and I know when the season ends this year. Typically, we go into it and we don't know when it's going to end, and that's the beauty of it. But just trying to make sure that everybody here knows that I'm focused on trying to win football games these last 3 games.
Has this been a tough season to evaluate, just because you guys have been really, really good in spurts, and sometimes for 3.5 quarters at times, and it just hasn't.
I think that's what it really is. That's where it's mostly frustrating, is that we've seen spurts and or parts of the season where we are that team that I think we could make a run at a championship, and then times where we don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. So,
Travis, you spoke a bit about this on the podcast as well, but the feeling of just sort of running through the tape when there's no playoff to play for now, and honoring the uniform, I think was one of the ways you put it. I wonder if you could just elaborate on that, like why it's so important to be able to give it your all in games that are less meaningful.
It's just integrity, man. It's integrity. I signed up to be, a Kansas City Chief, and I love doing what I do, and I know I've been dreaming of being in these moments and playing for, an NFL team since I was a kid, and I think getting back to that will give you more motivation than you could ever need to play this game. And I think the integrity of being a man about your work and giving everybody your devoted attention and your sense of urgency to be at your best for them. I think that's just how you need to go about work, whether or not you're in the race or not. And I think that's the mentality going into these last 3 games. Is we know it kind of ends after that New Year's game, or the game right after New Year's in January, and but I'm going to make sure these guys know that I'm out there giving them everything I got.
Have the recent developments given you an opportunity to maybe pause and appreciate what the Chiefs and you have done over the last decade?
I mean, not really. I'm just kind of stuck on how it got to this point, and it's just not really a time for evaluating. It's just time for trying to get through this as an organization, as a team. Man.
Travis, how does your body feel right now?
I mean, we're rolling, man. I'm out here practicing every single day, and I'm able to keep doing it. And it's an honor to be out there on that field and feeling the discomfort that I'm feeling right now, because there's a lot of guys and a lot of people that wish they could be out there on that field and get a chance to make those plays and feel the soreness after a game. It's almost an honor to feel all that. So it's the end of a football season. Everybody's banged up, but this year is no different than others.
I know you don't usually get hung up on numbers, but you got a chance to be the first 1,000-yard tight end at your age or later in a career. Would that still mean something to you to reach that plateau at least one more time?
If it comes with winning 3 football games for the guys that I go to work with, man, yeah, without a doubt.
Travis, have you spoken on the phone with Patrick as opposed to just texting? I mean, as close as you guys are, have you had a few exchanges with him?
I mean, that's my brother. I know everything he's going through and all that. I don't just keep it personal.
Maybe this is along those lines too, but did you get to speak with him much directly after the game?
Yeah, I talked to him afterwards. I know it was before the MRI and stuff, but that's why I kind of chose not to speak to the media right after that game.
Last one, Nate.
Just, is there anything about this season that you found to be more appreciative now that you understand where the season goes, or is it just the more you look back on it, just disappointment of where you guys are?
Disappointment.
Last one, official.
Travis, it became more of a thing this year about how often you speak to us, and we see it in the locker room. Those of us in here know how it actually is, but I just wondered if that bothered you, or what your reaction is to that becoming a thing.
What's that?
Just how just not speaking to.
I appreciate the respect you guys give me. You guys know through, the podcast and other areas that you guys are going to get the sound bites and things like that. But if there's ever something I need to speak on or something I need to answer a question about, I think I've always been pretty fair about that, and I think you guys have been pretty respectful on understanding where I'm at with all that.
Actually, if I could ask you one more, Travis, you are planning to play all 3 games. We understand that. What do you think that shows from a leadership standpoint to the rest of the guys that will play with you, and what it might mean for them to see this example, obviously, further on in their career?
You could roll the balls out in a Walmart parking lot, man. Sign me up, baby. I get a chance to play in the NFL, I'm going to do it.
Travis Kelce stands at the center of a story that feels both familiar and completely unpredictable, a narrative that's equal parts sports legend and celebrity intrigue. As the Kansas City Chiefs' larger-than-life tight end, Kelce has spent years dazzling crowds with his impossible catches and infectious enthusiasm. But now, at 36, he faces a moment of uncertainty wrapped in possibility. What makes a situation so captivating isn't simply the looming question of whether he'll lace up his cleats for a 14th NFL season or hang them up for good. It's the sense that Kelce's journey is about to pivot into territory no one can quite forecast. For years, whispers have circled about Kelce's potential beyond the gridiron, and it turns out those rumors have had substance all along. Quietly, he's been talking with the biggest names in media, Netflix, the major networks, streaming platforms, long before any retirement buzz hit the headlines. According to a source close to Kelce, these conversations have been part of his life's background noise, present no matter how many touchdowns he scored or how deep the Chiefs went into January. They're not a sign of wavering commitment to football, just a mark of a man who knows how to keep doors open. And now, as the Chiefs bow out early from the playoff for the first time in a decade, Kelce finds himself with something almost unheard of in his world: time. For the first time in years, there are no immediate playbooks to study, no defensive lines to outsmart, just a rare and precious offseason stretching before him. When reporters pressed him after the Chiefs' last game, Kelce was honest. He hadn't made up his mind about returning. He wanted time with his team, time with his family, time to figure things out. Sometimes decisions come in a flash, he explained, but sometimes they need to simmer, and this year, for reasons he can't quite articulate, feels different. Maybe it's because his life off the field is now as compelling as his career on it. Kelce's podcast, New Heights, co-hosted with his brother Jason, has become a phenomenon in its own right, a place for unfiltered stories, wild debates, and the sort of brotherly chemistry that makes even jobless jokes sound like a celebration. Kelce quipped recently that the podcast is his only job right now, a wink at the uncertainty that somehow makes fans root for him even harder. If anything, that uncertainty has made him more relatable, more human, and infinitely more interesting to watch. Kelce isn't just a football player anymore. He's hosted game shows, stepping in front of the camera for Are You Smarter Than Celebrity? With a natural ease that's drawn rave reviews from both producers and audiences. He's crossed over into pop culture in a way few athletes ever manage, making headlines not just for his athletic feats, but for sharing the stage, literally, with his fiancée Taylor Swift during her blockbuster tour. Those in Hollywood talk about his charm, his presence, his uncanny ability to turn any moment into something memorable. He talks about being coachable, about taking the lessons learned on the field and applying them to new arenas, whether it's the bright lights of a studio or the chaos of a live concert. Despite all these new adventures, Kelce remains anchored by the simple things: time with family, the chance to step back from the relentless march of the NFL calendar, and the ability to savor moments that used to flash by in a blur of practices and away games. For someone who's always been defined by movement, rushing downfield, spinning out of tackles, leaping for impossible catches, this pause is both strange and welcome. His fans are left guessing, watching every podcast episode, every interview, every social media post for clues. Will he come back for another season, chasing records and rewriting the story of what a tight end can be? Or will he leap into the unknown, building a second act that's as bold and surprising as his first? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain. The world will be watching, because Kelce's story isn't just about football anymore. It's about transformation, about the courage to embrace change, and about the thrill of new possibilities. He's not rushing the next chapter, and who can blame him? With every option on the table, he's earned the right to choose carefully, to savor the journey, and keep everyone guessing just a little bit longer. In a sports landscape where endings are often scripted and predictable, Travis Kelce is writing his own playbook. Whether he's breaking records or breaking into new industries, whether he returns to the field or reinvents himself in front of the camera, one thing is undeniable. His story is far from finished, and the next twist could come at any moment. For now, all anyone can do is stay tuned, watch closely, and enjoy the show as one of football's most magnetic stars proves that sometimes the best plays are the ones you make off the field.